7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
All right. So, nipping is a really big deal in Australian Shepherds, as it is in a lot of herding breeds. And I thought that it would be a good idea to put up a video about how to nipping in the butt, so to speak. There's some things that I tried with my dog, and I really had to go through a lot of different things to find something that worked. I think that it really depends on your dog's personality. One thing that could work for my dog might not work for your dog. So I think you just have to go through a lot of the options, see what works for your dog, and then be consistent with it and keep on doing it until the nipping stops. But hopefully this will give you some ideas about what you might be able to do. So going through what people try to do first, usually the first things that people will do with their animals to stop nipping is saying no to the animal, which eventually really doesn't work. It depends on your dog. If your dog's very passive and easily changed, then it might work, but it's a very kind of passive way of taking care of nipping. The next thing that people usually try is holding the muzzle closed. Sometimes that can hurt the animal depending on how hard you're holding their muzzle closed. You don't want to do anything that would injure your animal at all, that would hurt their gums or anything. But lightly holding the muzzle sometimes does help, and saying no at the same time. Of course, didn't help with our dog at all. And then the next thing that some people do try to do is grabbing the mouth when they're nipping. So sometimes when the dog goes in for a bite, you would grab kind of their bottom, their mandible, the lower part of their jaw, and their tongue, and hold it down and say no. And for a lot of dogs that helps. It stops the nipping pretty quickly because dogs don't like to be held by the jaw like that. For some dogs though, it's not the best thing to do. So for example, my dog, she's a very unique dog because she makes absolutely everything a game. And when that started happening, she realized that we would grab her mouth, and she started making it a game and was trying to dodge our hand the entire time. So it didn't help. It really encouraged the nipping in our dog. But I do know some people who have used that method, and it's definitely worked for them. So it really depends on your dog. The next thing that we did try with her was bitter spray. And that looks something like this. And you can get it from any pet store, really. And it's just a bitter apple flavor that a lot of animals don't like. And what we did with this is sprayed our hands, we sprayed our feet, because Australian Shepherds tend to go after the ankles, and tried to see if this would work. Now, the one downfall about anything like this that has a flavor to it, your animal might be the only animal that actually likes the flavor. So when we tried to do this with Aspen, of course, she was one of the dogs that for some reason really liked sour flavors, and decided that it was a more inviting thing than a deterring thing. So this might work for the majority of dogs, I would say, but there's a chance that your animal might be the one that prefers the flavor versus dislikes the flavor. But yeah, it's also useful for animals that are chewing on carpet or on furniture. just anywhere that you really don't want their mouth to be, it's a good thing to try. And for most animals, it does work. The final thing, and the number one thing that worked for us out of everything, because everything else didn't work, is just spraying water. And it seems like something that is so simple to do, but it really worked for Aspen, and I think that it would work for a lot of other animals. So what we used is just a spray bottle. Let me just get one right here, just like this. This one's full of something else, so I don't know, just pretend that it's empty. But we went to the dollar store, picked up a couple of these things, and filled it with water, and just had 3 or 4 of them lying around the house in different places. And every time that she nipped at us, she just got a spray of water in the face. And she really didn't like that. It was something that was very deterring for her. Didn't hurt her at all. It's just water. But it got to the point where every time that we would even pick up the bottle, we didn't even have to spray it. We just picked it up and she would stop doing what she was doing and kind of run away a little bit. So this really, really worked. I don't really know of a lot of other people who have tried this method, but I think that it would definitely work for a lot of animals, and it's a pretty cheap way of stopping nipping. I think these bottles cost us, what, 50 cents each? That's pretty good. When you consider that, like, the bitter spray, I think it was $12, and it didn't work. This was a bargain. It worked, and I'm really glad that we gave this a go. So this, of course, would be number one for us. It would be the thing that I would recommend doing. But like I said, animals are different, just like people are different. They all have different personalities, and some things work better than others for different people. So some things work better for different animals. Hopefully this has given you some things to think about. They're just some pretty straightforward things, but they are things that some people might not have known about. So I think that this gives a good range of things that you can try, and hopefully one of those things would work for your animal. You're so tired. Oh, really? Oh, really? What? What? Aww. I love you.